Hey ladies, I'm making my updates for week 10 and 11, and I'm gonna try to go through this pretty fast because I don't have much time on this channel. So yeah, okay you guys. So for my week 10, the only thing that stood out that week was I think I felt the baby, and ever since like week 10, 10 weeks, 10, 4 days, according to me, and again, like I'm gonna know on this Thursday when I go in for my ultrasound for dates to see how far along I am, which I'm thinking now that I'm a little further than I think I am, due to the fact that I had an early ultrasound, and I'll tell you guys about that. Well, an early ultrasound meaning Sunday I went in and I had an ultrasound. Okay, so I'll tell you a little bit about why I think I felt the baby. And so I was sitting on the couch and I had just ate. And well, I was sitting on the couch, I was sitting on the chair, and I just ate. And I felt something, and it felt like a little hard, like ball. It looked like it felt like maybe the size of a golf ball, and it just felt like it like go against my skin and stay there like a little hard ball, and then it would like move away. I wouldn't feel it, like I didn't even feel it move away, but all I know is like it wasn't there anymore. And then all of a sudden, like I feel it again, like a little ball, and I didn't feel any kicking or anything like that. And I can kind of see how people think will sometimes compare it to like bubbles or gas. Now I know it wasn't gas because eventually if it was I would have had to pass the gas, and that never happened. So and it did kind of feel like a, I guess not like a bubble, but I'm just telling you, like a little golf ball is what it felt like to me. And I felt it like down at my left side, like really low, like kind of like where your panties come up to or something like that. Okay, so that was the fun, awesome thing for weeks 10, and ever since then I do kind of feel it, not every day, but I feel something there. Like I definitely feel that, like the baby, but it's not kicks or anything like that, and it's really hard to explain it, but I feel something there. Also for week 10, before I felt this, I think it was the day before, I text my sister like, how far along was I when I felt an eye kick? Because it was like I felt something. I was asleep on my back, and I'm like shortness of breath. I was asleep on my back, and I was like, I guess like I was like half asleep or something, and I just like opened my eyes like, what the heck was that? Something in my stomach moved across. It was the weirdest feeling I've ever felt, yet I was half asleep, so I don't like know if it was just like in my mind or what. But the next morning it happened again, and I was like, oh my god, like I think that's the baby. It has to be. I mean, what else is like moving? But it felt so fast. Like I don't know how it could have been the baby. It just went like this, but I mean in a small spot. But I felt it go like that, and it was weird. But I'm excited to start feeling movements and such. Okay guys, so for week 11, because I can't make these videos too long, so for week 11, and I'm starting to hate my camera, like it never used to be so slow. It looks really slow now. Okay, so for week 11, Sunday morning, I woke up and my hands were swollen. Usually swollenness is not a good sign for me. I mean, I've been mildly swollen, and this was like a mild swollen as well. But you know, on your finger when you put your ring on, and my finger's a little swollen, if you can tell that that looks a little tight. But I couldn't get my ring up this part, like it stopped here. So I knew that it was pretty swollen, and like I got my ring on today, and usually it'll loosen up after a while. So anyhow, so I went to the ER. I went by myself. My husband couldn't go. He had to stay home with the kids. We didn't have anybody to watch them, so you know, we have to do what we gotta do sometimes. So I went by myself, and also what was I gonna say? I forgot. So anyhow, I had to go like to the regular ER. Couldn't even go upstairs to labor and delivery, which totally sucked because I had to wait like everyone else. They got me to a room quickly, but once they had me in the room, they just left me there for hours. So I come in, the doctor comes in, talks to me. You know, I tell her my concerns about having swollen hands, feet, or face, and telling her that that's kind of what I've first noticed at my losses, like after, I think like after they already happened. I've got like really swollen. And but I wasn't really swollen, but I wanted to catch it like before anything happened, or like is there something in my body that is making me swollen that is causing something else to happen, or it could be completely separate, you know, things that are going on. But I did want to just see if they can check my urine, maybe give me blood work, which I wouldn't have known what blood work to do. But they did check my urine for protein, and that came back normal. And I was like, is it a high normal or low normal? They're like, no, it's just normal. And I'm like, okay. So everything was fine with that. I did eat like half a bag of Ritz crackers before I went to sleep, and they were salty. So I don't know, like they weren't like, they were the original, but they have salt, and I don't know if that caused me to like swell up overnight. I did keep feeling my hands fall asleep like while I was sleeping, and so I was just like waking up going like this because they were like falling asleep. So anyhow, so I don't know, it could have been like something like that, which it's a little swollen today, but nothing like that, nothing like Sunday. And so what else, you guys? So they gave me a bedside ultrasound, and she was just looking in there. She saw the baby. We saw the baby, and she was like, I was trying to read her face while she was giving me the ultrasound because I couldn't see, and I was like, oh, like I was nervous, but I didn't feel like something was wrong with the baby. I did feel like the baby was okay, which is good. But yeah, she was like, oh, the baby's moving too much, and I was like, the baby's moving? And she's like, yes. And I was like, oh my god. And she goes, look, and she shows me a screen, and she was really nice, you know. She showed me a screen, and she gave me a picture, and I'll show you guys a picture in a little bit. I have it. And so she leaves and then talks with her boss a little bit, and she comes back and says they want me to measure some stuff and look around. So I'm like, okay. So she's giving me another ultrasound, and she was looking at my ovaries. She didn't say anything about them, and I really didn't ask about them. She was looking at my like, you can tell that she didn't know crap. I'm serious. Like, she didn't know anything about ultrasounds. Like, I probably could have given myself a better ultrasound. And she was like, she asked me if I ever had fibroids. She didn't say I had any. She just said, like, do I have a history or anything like that? And I was like, no. You know, I thought maybe I did one time because I saw like a whole bunch of little things when a doctor was giving me an ultrasound. But she's like, yeah, that probably was your fat though, like from your stomach. And I was like, okay. So I think she would have told me if I had any fibroids. She brought in another doctor with her. I'll tell you guys, I'm still sick. She brought in another doctor with her, and that doctor kind of scared me a little. You know, like, you don't want them to bring in another doctor. And so, but you know, like, she didn't really know crap. So, you know, she said the other doctor knew more about ultrasounds than she did. So she was looking, and she was asking the other doctor, like, is this normal? Is this normal? And then the other doctor's like, the placenta is something. I don't know what she said, but it didn't even sound like placenta when she was talking. Like, she was a Mexican lady, and she had like a strong accent. And I was like, what's that? What's the whatever word she was saying? She's like, placenta. And I'm like, oh, placenta. And she's like, yeah. And she's like, it's kind of big. And I was like, what do you mean? And the other doctor's like, well, we can see it on the screen, and I wouldn't think we can see it. And I'm like, well, you know, she was measuring me, and she was measuring me at 12 weeks, the baby, 12 weeks and 2 days, which I thought I was like 11 weeks, 5 days. That's why I mean that I'm probably a little more ahead than I thought I was. And I'm going to end this video.